Come on, let's go.
Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to Football Inc. How are you? I hope you're all happy and healthy, doing the things you love. It's Saturday, it's game day, it's FA Cup weekend. The curtain raiser on the third round started last night, and what a game one of them at least was. Unbelievable. Forest against Wrexham. Great to see another football club in the Premier League having just as much of a terrible time as Tottenham are at the moment. Just when I think that things get really bad and I'm feeling miserable and sorry for myself, it's always nice to dial into Forest Fan TV to see Wolfie losing his mind about things that are just as bad. Big up to him. Big up to all of you guys in the chat. Please smash the like button. I'm here with Johnny H. Please hit the subscribe if you haven't already. On the march to 6K, notification button should be squeezed. Comments should be dropped. And, of course, we are available on all of your podcasting platforms, Apple Pods, Amazon, and Spotify, where you can actually watch us back as well. So if that's your jam, then please do give us a follow and rate us if you don't mind. It'd be really, really cool to help us out on that regard. The links are in the description, or just search for Football Inc. And whilst you're searching for things, search for OK Jersey. They are, of course, today's sponsor, and they are giving away the greatest in prices and value in all of your athleisure wear. You can get football shirts for 15 quid or less. You can get retro stuff. You might be able to get the new one that's come out. So I don't know. We're not talking about any specific items, but you can get anything you want from OK Jersey for very, very good value. But you can get even better value by putting in 8% levels of discount using code FINC, F-I-N-C, at checkout. I think it's time to find out how Johnny's doing. How are you, Johnny? Good to see you.
All good. Yeah, I was in town yesterday, having to do the usual obligatory scans and stuff, and so we didn't get a chance yesterday, unfortunately, to do a show, because I had lots of messages from people asking where we were. It's transfer window, and a transfer window day without us didn't seem quite right. So we're here. We're going to. I'm off to the game later today, Spurs Villa, so that should be an interesting one. Guys, thanks so much for all your support. It's fantastic. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and everyone in the chat, good morning, or maybe in Australia, good afternoon, and maybe in America, very early, good morning. And if any of you are watching later on, you can still hit the like and the subscribe button. Yeah, what a game. I was on Villa Fan TV last night at 8:00, so I missed like the first 40 minutes of the game, and I looked at my phone and they were 2-0 up. Wrexham
could have been 3-0 up, but just
could have been 3-0 up. And Sean Dyche said he was fuming, and those players who played in that first half, don't bother banging on my door again for the rest of the season.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's what he said. And yeah, interesting one.
Really?
Yeah. Don't bother banging on my door again.
They've been banging on his door previously,
obviously, to get a game, and they had their chance, and they fluffed their lines, and they made 3 changes. I can't remember exactly who went off. Zinchenko was one of them that went off, and it looked like they were going to turn it around. I got to tell you, I absolutely love that club. As a neutral, what a story to watch the whole progress from these guys. A club literally on its knees. And when we talk about our clubs being in a mess and in the doldrums and all the rest of it, but when you look at someone like Wrexham, who had gone all the way almost to the point of bankruptcy, an owner that didn't give 2 hoots, a ground that was literally falling down, and where they are today is quite unbelievable. And
I'd love to know who it is that's, because as much as the Hollywood guys, obviously are larger than life characters, fantastic story, fantastic ability to generate money, sponsors, all the Disney thing, all that stuff. There still needs to be someone in the football club that is taking care of identifying the right players for each level that they've climbed through in a relatively short period of time. And that's not something that many directors of football are going to have the capability and the skill set to be able to do, right? You're going to have levels of directors of football. Like, I very much doubt Louis Campos would know who's the right caliber of League Two player that can take
they went above, didn't they? They went, what they did, their model was, I suppose with the backing of Disney and knowing that they were going to get that money, they then invested that money into, buying a couple of players or getting players from a higher league. So they went to League Two. They got League Two players.
Yeah, but then when they're in League Two and suddenly they're in League One, those League Two players were probably signed on a couple of year contract. I don't know. I honestly don't know the details of the story, but I'm just saying that in order for them to have progressed so quickly, the director of football or the scouts that would need to have such a high degree of breadth of kind of like lower league level talent, like Paratici wouldn't be the right guy for that job. Louis Campos wouldn't be the right guy for that job. You need someone who's director of football who knows, British football in the lower tiers. But then every time you jump up a level, you need to have that knowledge of the next tier as well. And I'm just saying it's like, and it's okay if you do it over a 10-year period, but if you do it over a 3-year period where you go from like non-league to championship, and if they were to do the unthinkable and sneak into the playoffs this year and be in the Premier League for whatever it is on the bounce, 4 promotions on the bounce, then suddenly you have to then, are the same people in charge then going to be able to identify the right players for the Premier League level? Like, it's a really unique and interesting skill set that whoever's doing it has. And it's not going to be the Hollywood guys. They're going to, I don't know who the person is, but he's done a bloody good job.
Well, Parkinson has advised them quite a lot on the players and stuff. He's liaised. I mean, it's very much a team setup. I can't remember the guy with the glasses who does a lot of the the finance stuff. But listen, it hasn't been an easy journey. But what they have done by having Ryan Reynolds and the likes coming in, they're attracting sponsors who would never normally be associated with a club like that. And let's be honest, Ryan Reynolds is an unbelievable businessman, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he sold Mint Mobile for, what was it, nearly $1 billion, was it? I can't remember. Ridiculous amount of money. He's got the Aviator drink, which he sold out for hundreds of millions of pounds. He's a smart guy. But the coolest guy of the lot last night was the goalkeeper. I'm not going to attempt to name his name, but I was thinking to myself, he guessed the right direction for every single, I think 4 or 5 of those their penalties, right? Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, Vicario, when he has a penalty, he never guesses the right way. But
I think it's because he telegraphs it. I think the players these days are probably smart enough to be able to look up and see if the goalkeeper, shows his hand.
Yeah.
Because I think that just on the law of averages, if you just wait until the ball was hit and then pick the direction, you'd get, like heads and tails, isn't it? Like eventually you'd go the right way once, but he never, ever goes the right direction.
No. And this guy...
There must be something that he wouldn't be a good poker player. Let's put it that way. He's got his tails written all over his face.
This goalkeeper last night, though, unbelievable, right? I mean, he saves the final penalty, and normally they run to the crowd and they go mental, right? He just went like that,
nonchalant.
He was so cool. He was so cool, even like in his interview.
His heart's going rat-a-tat.
Yeah, mate, it's just
his body's like, I'm cool.
Yes, I do this shit every day.
Yeah, what do you want from me? What do you expect from me?
I'm a goalkeeper. That's my job. That's my job. Right.
Whereas inside he's going,
Yeah. It was Okonoku. But he was very cool, and it's a great story, and good luck to them. And Nottingham Forest, let's be honest, as much as they're out of the cup now, Forest, they should, in all fairness, because West Ham are so bad and the teams below them are so bad, they should be safe. But another shocking performance. Where do you want to go now, Sean? I mean, your rant yesterday. Do you want to talk about your rant before we go into?
There's a couple of super chats first. Dino Chudini, big up to Chudini. He is starting the Super Sticker train. Choo-choo. Big up to you, mate. Thank you very much, mate. Always here, always supporting. And he has just put another one saying, what better team talk for today than your rant yesterday, Sean? 100% truth. Thank you very much, mate. Very, very generous of you again. Appreciate you. Yeah, no, I wasn't, I don't know where it sort of, I just finished a 2-hour stream with Henry and I was in a good mood because Henry always puts you in a good mood. And then as soon as Henry left, and then I pulled up the last, I was like, oh, any more stories? I pulled up a story and it said that Romero wants to leave the football club at the end of the season. And I was like, well, there you go. If that's, if you're looking for a reason why he did what he did, then there it is. If it's true, I don't know, who knows if it's true.
Mate, look, can I just say, there was also a story by Bruno Andrade from ESPN, reported by ESPN Brazil, that Richarlison wants to leave, and he put, who wrote that? Fuck off.
Yeah.
So, you know, look.
Well, I'm glad if Richarlison saw, I don't think he will have done, obviously, but if he did see my video, then he would also comment and tell me I'm a fucking bozo, because in that rant, I also included the bit where I said, like, if he wants to go, then he can F off too, because I don't know, for me, mate, I just feel like what Romero said, and the reason I brought in Porro and Richarlison into it is because they like, you know, amen. I think Porro said like that, and then amen, brother, and then Richarlison did something similar. And I was just like, take some accountability for your own inadequacies. You know, you're paid a lot of money, and yet when times are tough, you want all the good things in life, but you don't want any of the criticism or the critique. You argue with the fans. You don't support, like you said, mate. Yes, you did your video when they walked past everyone, maybe apart from Richarlison. Yeah, but that was the bare minimum. Richarlison signing a couple of shirts. Everybody else head down, walk past all the fans.
They just went like this. They went like this, and then and walked right past kids. Right, all a kid wants in that moment is
a high five. Anything. Just to acknowledge me. He said hello to me, Dad. Yeah, that's all you want.
Oh yeah, and you know they go to school on the Monday morning. I was a thing, and you know,
Charles is my best mate now. Yeah. It's all you want. It's just acknowledge me. You don't know I exist. If you catch my eye, you know I exist. That's all I need. You're my hero. But they don't.
Meanwhile, the Bournemouth players, when I was stood there before Vinay and Lurch came past, they were stopping and signing autographs, Krupi and all those for the kids, getting pictures. They weren't spending ages, but they stopped. They gave them a second.
2 minutes. Listen, I understand that, like they, you know, it's probably just part of their life. Like every day, they can't walk, they can't go to the shops, they can't go to Tesco's, they can't do anything because it just be one exhausting experience after another. But with kids, especially at the football game, it should be part of your job to sit there and acknowledge them, because, as I said in the video yesterday, these guys are paid fortunes. They have the best lives, and they want all of the good stuff that comes with it, but none of the bad. And when the bad is manifested into frustration because the fans have had enough, that they're working hard, they're finding the money to go and support you, and then you're not delivering on the pitch, regardless of whether or not the owners are doing their job, and they're not doing their job. Like, the players are still responsible for their bit, right? That's the contract that you sign, not the contract in terms of you like to play for the club, the social contract. You get paid a lot of money, you have an awesome life. Pull your fucking weight, and if you don't, people have a right to complain. And when they do, you suck it up and you get on with your fucking day, and you get on with it. You don't sit there and say, it's not us, it's them, right? It's no, like, yes, we can figure that shit out for ourselves. Mate, we don't need you telling us that. We need you to fucking kick a ball better, because that's all you're paid to do.
Yeah, listen, I was at that Bournemouth game, right? And, you know, having stood there and witnessed all of that, and then to be like them coming at the fans, you know, forget it. I've got to say, though, that the press on the whole, a lot of the press are absolute scum. What they do, they smell a disaster. They smell a rat. Today we've got, you know, Romero wants to leave. Mickey van der Ven is odds on to leave Spurs at the end of the season. And they'll be doing it at Man United. They're already doing it at Chelsea, right? When they sniff a story and they sniff a bit of blood, right, at a club. I mean, look at the stuff that's been going on at United, you know, with Amorim. Every word is micro-analysed, and they spew it out and take it the way that they want to make it look.
Of course. That's the game, though, isn't it?
That is the game. But I don't mind it when it's actual spoken. But when they embellish some of these stories or they ramp them and take them in the opposite direction, I have an issue with it. Very much like what we had last season at our club when the press was saying that if Ange Postecoglou is sacked, Romero is leaving. And lo and behold, not only did he stay, signed a new contract, became captain. Anyway, this ain't all about Spurs.
No, just quickly.
Yeah.
The notion that so Romero is not allowed. So sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts here. So yeah, so the notion that Romero said if Ange is sacked, then he's leaving, right? It wasn't true. He signs a new contract.
Yeah,
he signed that new contract, right? And I think that he is doing by doing that sort of thing, by putting it out there. I think he's trying to do the new method, right? Which is just like we're seeing it all the time with managers. Said it all the last couple of weeks. It's been never more prominent than it is right now. With Glasner, with Eddie Howe to a lesser degree, with Thomas Frank to an even lesser degree. But there's there's layerings in the commentary about why it's not my fault. Everyone protects themselves from their own ineptitude and from criticism by blaming and pointing the finger in other directions. And I think Romero's doing the same thing. Drag us in. He wants out. You can piss right off.
Well, can I tell you, you're saying that about the deflection. Can we talk about the incident, right, with Conor Bradley and Martinelli? I mean, now we're having a situation here where a player has gone down with no contact with anyone, screaming. Martinelli comes along, throws him off, pushes him off the pitch and bounces the ball on his head. Yeah. And now we're getting Arsenal and Arsenal fans and the press and Darren Bent saying, oh, well, it's understandable, right? It's understandable because a lot of the players feign injury and therefore, he wasn't to know. I'm sorry, that shit's not fucking acceptable, right? If one of my players are playing a Sunday League football and a mate's gone down holding his knee and going, like this, and someone's come along and starts trying to boot him off the pitch, everyone's piling into that player, right? Yeah. And to make this bullshit excuse, right, for Martinelli, let me tell you, if that was Cuti Romero, that would have been a red card.
100%.
He would have got a red card. Why are Arsenal getting some sort of bypass? Why is there no retrospective? Oh, he wasn't to know that he'd broken that he had a serious injury. That's fair enough. Of course he didn't. But
the only thing I would say, just play devil's advocate on it, and I genuinely echo your sentiments that it's outrageous to throw the ball at someone and to try and
the ball. It's not the ball.
Try and push him off the 100%. I hear you. However, what I would also say is, if you watch that again, he very much went down injured, realised he was off the pitch, and then tried to get himself back on the pitch. So even though he was in absolute agony, even though he did have a serious injury, he was still trying to manipulate the last minute of the game by being on the pitch and not being off of it. So I think that both parties are a little bit guilty of gamesmanship in that thing. Doesn't excuse one because the other one's guilty. Like they're both in. I think the Arsenal version is a lot worse. But for what it's worth, if you see, like, just to play devil's advocate, if you are an Arsenal fan here, an Arsenal player, sorry, and you see a player go down and you know that there is the potential in the last minute that you are trying to waste time, and you see the player go down injured and then get up and then shuffle himself back onto the pitch, like a half a yard or half a foot, whatever it was, then you could be forgiven in the heat of the moment, at least for potentially thinking this is gamesmanship. It doesn't mean that you should still be able to do what you do. And let's be honest, if there wasn't an injury, then it wouldn't be a conversation. So I just think from both sides, I think that they were both manipulating the situation.
And I'll just counter that by saying that Arsenal are a club that wins at all costs. Nothing is sacred. Nothing is sacred. Surround the referee. Arteta on the pitch, getting away with murder every single time. Foot on the pitch. Half the time a player of the opposition team is running down the flank and he's literally in front of them, catching the ball, going mad, surrounding the fourth official every minute. He gets away with it every single week. Arsenal players looking to manipulate and get any second of advantage. Now, some would say there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but I think that's one of the reasons why so many neutral fans look at that behaviour and question it. So when you see that, what happened, when you see that happening with Conor Bradley and Martinelli, I think it was just another example of the way they carry on.
Yeah, listen, I hear you. I'm just, all of that stuff is true. And this is another, like, if you have formed an opinion about Arsenal, their players, their coach, because of that behaviour, then you're going to think a certain way about this thing as well. And I'm not in any way going to step in the way of that, because I feel exactly the same way you do. I'm just saying, though, that there is, like, Conor Bradley did try and sneak back on the pitch. And so, like, that's also, if you're that injured, mate, like, stop worrying about the fucking game, worry about your pain. Like there's...
Well, he wasn't off the pitch.
It doesn't excuse the Arsenal players' behaviour, but to a degree, the other, like, we should also call out the fact that if you're that injured, don't worry about where you are rolling around. Just roll around and be pain.
Classless. They're classless. It's classless behaviour, and it's win at all costs. And listen, good luck to Arsenal. Good luck to Arsenal. There are many clubs right now, other than Arsenal, who have that win at all costs mentality. I don't think anyone else has that. Any advantage you can. If you're going to go down, I think do you remember they practice everything. I think they practice diving. I think they practice the screaming in front of the referee. Every single advantage that they can possibly get. I mean, I thought it was only meant to be one player that's meant to be in the referee, right? Why is it that they surround the referee? Why is it Arteta is constantly in every game attacking the fourth official and seem to be getting away with it?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I agree with you on that stuff. I do. I just in the instance specifically, I think that Bradley wasn't innocent entirely. Big up to Chudini. Big up to Chudini again. Super Blaine. Big up to you, Blaney. How are you, my man? He's putting a £3 super sticker. Big up to you, mate. Thank you very much. Choo to you as well, Blaine. Hope you're okay, buddy. Looking forward to seeing you for the City game when your ticket finally kicks in. Something very, very wrong.
Something wrong. Something very, very wrong. Our new signing.
Thank God we signed Sousa. I was worried our squad was lacking depth for a moment there. Yeah, we'll talk about that one, Johnny. I mean, he hasn't gone down, but the signing hasn't gone down very well, has it? I didn't even bother putting out a video about the Here We Go.
Listen, I've done some background check on the guy, and I spoke to people who know these things much more than I do out in Brazil, it's hard to get a picture on it. Santos nearly got relegated. He played a lot of games, but there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on a 19-year-old kid to play in those games. I mean, if you ever see South American football, there's life and death, and then there's this, look, he's a talented left back. He's technically good. He's quick. He gets forward. He can defend. Can he offer Spurs anything right now? That's the question. He's on Ancelotti's watch list, but look, Tottenham, like a lot of clubs right now, need players. City have signed Semenyo. The big question is who's going to win the race for Mark Gahey. I'm surprised that one hasn't been done double quick time. I mean, even Arsenal now have come in for Mark Gahey, and the question would be, how can Arsenal possibly need yet another defender? But that's the way Arsenal operate. Arsenal operate in the sense that if you can improve anyone or any aspect of your team, you go and buy them, even if you've got an unbelievable squad, an unbelievable depth. Whereas a club like ours is too busy worried about where they're going to play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear you. And Destiny Doggy's back apparently as well for today's game. So
does he go, Mark Gahey, does he go to City? Does he go to Liverpool? Does he go to Arsenal, or does he go abroad? Here's the question.
I think he waits for the I was listening to TalkSport yesterday, and they said apparently that the cost to bring Gahey out of Crystal Palace now, in the eyes of Parish, is more than it was in the summer, because the cost of replacing him now would be more than it was in the summer. And so Parish is like, no, whatever it was you could have got him for in the summer, 25 million, 30 million, whatever it was, now you're going to have to pay 35 or 40 because it's just too expensive. And there's logic to it, but there's also you're also, guaranteeing that you're going to lose him for free in the summer then, aren't you? Because no one's paying 40 million quid for a guy who's got 6 months left. No chance.
Look, the thing is with Steve Parish, he's playing the game. But let me tell you, when it comes to signing of contracts for your likes of your Waltons and Matetas, they're going to go no chance, mate. Seen what you did with with Zaha. Seen what you did with dragged out Eze and Elise and all these others. So, it'd be interesting to see. Let's have a look at the other transfer news, shall we, Sean?
Before we do, just 1 second. Adam scored draw locks. Remember for 2 months. Big up to you, mate. Thank you very much for the loyalty. He says, I was willing to give this new Enoch a chance, but we are becoming a laughing stock and absolute shit show. They need to plan an exit strategy. Yeah, big up to you, mate. Thank you very much for your membership, mate. Look, I to be honest, I pulled the biggest bait and switch ever, and I think it's been relatively unnoticed because people used to presume that I was, Enoch in and Levy in. I was definitely Levy in. I always think Levy got the hard shaft from fans, despite his many flaws. I thought he was much better than people had decided he wasn't. With Enoch though, didn't really have an attachment. With these new Enoch owners, I'm not on board it at all. I hated the way that they tried to PR spin it. I hated the whole process in the summer. I thought it was so transparent and obvious, and I felt like seeing the color of someone else's money, that tech DJ guy, when that story slipped, whether it was true or not, there was obviously something to it because he did put in an expression of interest. And he said that he wanted a 1.5 billion. That working capital. That's the sort of thing that you want to see from an owner that has intentions to try to close the gap. And I think that Enoch's biggest mistake or biggest issue is that they would have lost people like me that traditionally would have given them a little bit more rope because that story got out. And then you now have something to compare the £100 million investment to. And it's 15 times that amount of money from someone that may or may not know their arse from their elbow when it comes to football. But at least you have some money to work with, and hopefully the right people can be put in place. Enoch don't have any of those things. They haven't put the money in. They haven't put anywhere near enough money in.
Unlike Arsenal, unlike Man United, unlike Aston Villa, unlike Sunderland, it's other clubs are investing. Talk is cheap in any game, especially in football. Unless you put up, shut up. Basically, that's where I mean. So
the new majority owners thing for me, Enoch, fuck off. I'm not interested in them right now.
Yeah. Let's move on to other clubs.
Thank you, Adam, mate. Appreciate you, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Let's do the transfer news, views, and clues. Where are we on the transfer news, views, and clues? Where's the thing? Where's the video?
The rumor mill. It's time we went there to speculate, gesticulate on who will go where.
Listen, I'm going to start with Arsenal as much as it pains me because they just keep doing it. Arsenal are in contact with Mark Gahey. Mikel Arteta strongly feels that Palace centre-back is a top player, though the England international is also considering a move to Manchester City. But Gunners legend, can't even mention his name, has endorsed the move to Mark Gahey, saying Mark Gahey is a top player. I know Liverpool and Man City are sniffing around, but I would be the one making sure he's a signing Arsenal must have. Arsenal are also reportedly made serious inquiries over the phone for Borussia Dortmund's wonder kid, Romeo Ritter, amid some uncertainty about him signing a new contract. Arsenal are also seriously interested, along with Manchester City, about signing Newcastle defender Timo Livramento. I'm a huge fan of his. Loved him at Southampton. Started off at Chelsea. Went to Southampton, then went to Newcastle. £60 million is the rumoured fee for that one. I'll come back to that one. And last but not least, Mikel Arteta is pushing Arsenal to try and sign Real Madrid playmaker Arda Güler due to the fact that Como's star is due to go back to Real Madrid. Keep forgetting his name now, the Como midfielder.
Nico Paz
is going back to Real Madrid and is expected to be the starter for them next season. What do you reckon about Livramento? Injury prone.
Very injury prone. I wasn't that when he first moved to Newcastle. I was like, I don't know if he's because he had been so injury prone. He'd missed a year with an ACL or whatever it was, an Achilles or something. But fair play to him. He's really developed into a fine player, really strong player, and he's very balanced, can get forward. He's not even particularly poor at the aerial defensive back post things that they have to be good at, even though he's quite a small guy. So really impressive player. Do I think that Arsenal need him? No, I don't. I think Newcastle would be better. I think he would be better with his career at Newcastle. Newcastle are figuring it out, right? They're a bit of a hot season, cold season type of team at the moment, but they're very, very strong at home. And I think that Newcastle would be very silly to endorse or accept anything other than an astronomical amount of money for him, which I don't think he's worth. I think he's probably he is a top 6 right back. I don't think he'd get into. I don't think he's Man City level. Maybe Liverpool, if they get bored of the Frimpong experiment that hasn't really worked, then maybe he could go and play there. But I don't think Arsenal need him. But like I say, for me, I think he's good where he is, and I think he should stay where he is. And
yeah, 60 million pounds might solve a lot of problems for Newcastle, though. True. Enable them to spend the money. Quick one on Aston Villa. A player that our club were interested in, but he's never going to come here due to his Chelsea ties. Conor Gallagher. They are interested in a loan with a view to an obligation or permanent sale. 35 million. I think that's a bargain buy, isn't it? For a 24, 25-year-old?
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm just sitting looking at the Villa team, though, and thinking, does he really... Who does he get in front of?
Harvey Elliott.
Well, but Harvey Elliott's more of a winger.
Yeah, right? He's never going to play.
He's leaving anyway. He's leaving, isn't he? Harvey Elliott's going. But I mean, who does he get in front of? Kamara? Does he get in front of Amadou Onana? Does he get in front of John McGinn? No. To all of those things. So I don't really understand why. I mean, Les Villa are just building depth, right? And that's great for them. But if I'm Conor Gallagher, I mean, look. And again, not to make it about Tottenham, but we have to bring it up because he's linked with us. I'm for me, Tottenham Hotspur. Would be an instant starter for us. I think he would elevate us with his leadership. I think he would elevate us with his caliber. I don't think he's the best midfielder in the game. I think he's a workhorse. He's a major workhorse, right? But he's definitely not a show pony in any way, shape, or form. But I think he fills a big hole in Tottenham's midfield. I'm not sure if he fills a major hole in Villa's midfield. So it's an interesting.
Depends what version you get, Sean. Because if you remember when he was on loan at Crystal Palace. He played much further forward. He behind the striker, and he was scoring goals and creating and assisting. It was only, I think, the version that we think of is the Pochettino version, who had him, almost sat, just in front of the back four.
He was the keeper of the double pivot, wasn't he?
Yeah. So.
But that's the thing. He's a versatile player that can fill a number of roles. But that's for me where the issues lie sometimes. Don't get me wrong, versatility is a great thing. Semenyo's ability to play on the left or the right. Ademola Lookman's ability to play left, right, or even 9 if they're playing in a back 3 with Atalanta, right? All of those things, amazing. But in the midfield, I don't really think that, because if you're someone that is, you can play as a 10. And you can also play as a 6 or a double pivot, lower block, right? Then and you can play the box-to-box role. Does that really mean that you're a generalist? You're not a specialist, right? And I think that in football, it's nice to have a
jack of all trades, master of none.
Exactly. Much better way of saying it, right? And I think that in football right now, the game has pivoted in this direction of bigger, faster, stronger. And I think sometimes the way that you can get around that, as I said before, there's only a few ways that you can really outwin the man-to-man press that a lot of teams are doing. That's either by out-dueling them, in which case you need stronger players or bigger players. You either play it around them, in which case you need technical players that are also faster, or you have creative players that can pull players out of position to create space for other people, which requires synchronicity, time on the training ground, and an understanding of the method. And I think that all of those things really require, in my opinion, in the midfield specifically, specialists rather than generalists, like Jacks, masters rather than Jacks, right? And I think that as much as I think that he would suit Tottenham and he would fill a hole in Tottenham, I think at Aston Villa's level, maybe they're just looking for someone that can just come in and then just play a variety of positions.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know what? Emery likes a guy who works his arse off. And that's the reason why Harvey Elliott has not cut the mustard there, because, Moshi was the one that really pressed Emery to take him. Emery wasn't 100% behind the deal, having spoken to the Villa TV guys yesterday. And he didn't particularly want him, but he succumbed to Moshi's idea. Moshi's gone, but in training, he has not matched the work ethic demanded of Emery. And that's why, long and short of it, he's gone. One club in financial...
Can I ask you a quick question, just to finish this topic off quickly? Who do you think is a better player for the role of a kind of midfielder that can do a bit of the progressive stuff, a bit of a hard worker, a workhorse that also has a little bit of flair that can play more advanced? For Villa, for Spurs, for anybody, Gibbs White or Gallagher?
Well, I suppose you'd say Gibbs White, but I've not been impressed with Gibbs White this season. Prior to this season, I would have said Gibbs White. But since then, no, I've not been massively impressed with him at all this season. I don't know whether he's still traumatized from the Marinakis kidnapping incident.
He's a prisoner on open release.
Honestly, he's a shadow of his former self. Barcelona still scurrying around, having sold everything but the kitchen sink to stay alive, are still in financial trouble. And they really want to do some business this summer. So they are potentially looking at sacrificing one of their main assets, Fermin Lopez. There are plenty of takers or plenty of interest. They're demanding 100 million euros minimum. Some reports that they might want even excess of that. Chelsea are definitely one that's interested, and they'd like to use that money to fund Marcus Rashford. They've made the Marcus Rashford's agents aware that they'd like to keep him on for next season. He's done well there, and so why not?
It's an interesting one though, isn't it? Like, I guess it's value for money. Like, Barcelona need to raise money at the same time. They don't want to let their standards drop, but they like what they see in Rashford, and they can get a player like Rashford for 30 million, who is versatile as well. Can play off the left, can play off the right if necessary, but mainly the left or in the 9. Fermin Lopez out and out 9, 22 years old. I don't know how old is Rashford? 27?
Must be about 27 now.
Like that. The problem with Marcus Rashford is whenever he signs on a permanent deal, does he then put his feet up? Is he the old Adebayor story?
Listen,
again?
he's avoided the old school dinner routine out in Spain because that's out of his remit. But look, it's not downhill leaving Manchester United to go to Barcelona. Let's be honest. He's gone from a club in Schitt's Creek who's been sort of pushed out to a club who's financially in trouble, but on the football pitch still very much one of the greats, top of the table at the moment. So I think it's been a great move for him. Some people just cop lucky. As simple as that.
As far as Fermin Lopez goes, I mean,
he's a exciting player, mate.
He's a fantastic player. Where would he end up? Would he end up if it was coming to the Premier League? You're right. Chelsea obviously make a lot of they're not afraid to spend money on those sorts of players, and he wouldn't be afraid of going to a place like Chelsea. Liverpool don't need anybody. City wouldn't need anybody.
No.
United, unless they've got the Sesko remorse. Someone in the chat saying that Ole Solskjaer wants Rashford back at United, but Solskjaer won't be there in the next season.
No. Unless he's going to be the permanent manager. Solskjaer's going to be the permanent manager, then no. And I honestly think that the amount of crap he gets from the British press, always scurrying around. Listen, he brings a lot of it upon himself. Who can forget him walking out in that most ridiculous outfit out of the basketball when he was supposed to be injured, thinking he was like rapper Drake or whatever he thought he was, coming out in that all-in-one Louis Vuitton pajama suit.
Yeah.
It's just, remember you're a footballer, mate, first and foremost. Anyway, Bayern Munich. Leonard Carl has apologised to Bayern Munich bosses after his comments about dreaming of moving to his dream club, Real Madrid. So it's not just Spurs who have dickheads within the community. I mean, some things are best left unsaid.
17 though, mate.
I know. We mentioned the other day that Upamecano.
Can you imagine though, like the Bayern Munich board, right, turning around to a 17-year-old and saying, "Where are your apologies? You must go out into the press room now, child, and you must apologize for daring to say that Real Madrid are your dream. No, Bayern is your dream. Bayern, you are at your dream.
You need to sign
straight to bed with
you
no
need to sign new papers. Sign new papers. There's your agent. There's your agent. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Listen, Serge Gnabry, he looks like he's going to sign a new contract, as does Upamecano, having said that he was definitely leaving because he couldn't reach agreement. Bayern Munich obviously realising that he is a player that they desperately need to hang on to. Let's move on to Chelsea, otherwise known as eBay FC. It's going to be interesting to see what the new manager does there. Saeed El Mala to Chelsea could be one to watch as the Blues join the list of top clubs chasing the talented 19-year-old German winger. Chelsea are also...
Hello, it's Chelsea! Ja, jawohl! Wie geht's? Ja, nicht so schlecht. We have another winger for you. We have another one from Germany. Stick him in the back with the rest. What are we doing here? How many left wingers do they need, mate?
Mate, honestly, Jose Feliciano, and no, not the singer, Jose Feliciano, the Chelsea co-owner of Clear Lake Capital, he's basically making comments. Like winning is part of it, but we're here to make money. Go and check out some of Jose Feliciano's comments about his club. And be careful what you wish for. A club like ours and many others who are out there who dream of getting owners who will come in and spend fortunes on the club and buying players. And then you have a player like, why did they sell Noni Madueke, right, who's in the England team, to buy Jamie Gittins, who can't even get in the Dortmund team, right?
Yeah.
You can't get it's a trading company. It does not make sense. Noni Madueke is better than what they have now.
You take Jamie Gittins at Tottenham.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
no, I hear you. I hear you about the Noni Madueke. He's a good player, though, right? He's a good player. They just overpaid for him.
Yeah, but he's not going to go. He's not going to England. He's not going to it. He can't even get a game, mate. You sold your soul. I don't get it.
Why do all these players go to Chelsea?
I don't know.
What is it? Because it's not like... I mean, like the Abramovich days are done. Bowley's been in charge for 4 years now, spent a king's ransom and then some. And let's be honest, the Club World Cup, I'm not sure that's a major trophy. Like it's a big tournament with big teams, but it's a pre-season friendly or a post-season friendly, whatever you want to call it, in my opinion. I'm not taking it away because it's still something that I'd love it if Tottenham ever won, but I'm not saying it's ignore it, but it's not like the Champions League or the Premier League. And all they've won since Todd Bowley's been there is the Conference League, right? Which
which they had to win.
And most teams in the Premier League would probably win if they were in there, right? Unless they really underperformed during over a couple of game period, the cup variants or whatever. But like Todd Bowley's Chelsea is not the same as Abramovich's Chelsea. It's not the same. But are they just still benefiting from the legacy of the brand that was built under Abramovich? Or is it the fact that these players know that they'll go to this club, they'll get a nice juicy signing on fee, the agent's okay with it because he'll get a quick 10% of the deal or whatever else, knowing full well that in a couple of years' time, he'll get another bite of the cherry when the player gets traded out of Chelsea. It doesn't really look bad on your resume. You went to play for Chelsea for a little while. No one's reputation is ruined when they leave Chelsea because it's just, he was one of those people that went to Chelsea and didn't work out. It's not because he wasn't great. It's because Chelsea do Chelsea things. And so is it just all like a win-win-win for every party to move players to Chelsea quickly?
And listen, look, the whole Chelsea setup, they've broken every rule. They sold the ground, they sold the hotel to themselves, they sold the women's team to themselves. They had more players, they had 34 players out on loan. They were buying everyone and loaning them out. So UEFA stepped in and capped it to 8, then 7, then 6. Then they started doing other stuff. Then they started doing 8-year contracts. And now they cut that out. But Chelsea are always at the forefront. They've signed, they've got Strasbourg as their team. They fly in all these players that they're buying, these young kids, they put them in Strasbourg. What happens? The manager's not working out, Maresca. What do? They just slap Rafinha out of Strasbourg. Don't worry about the fans of Strasbourg. There's no negotiation. He's gone. I mean, Gary O'Neill's gone in, but there's no deliberation or cogitating and digesting the news and holding out for a big settlement fee for your manager that's done a good job at Strasbourg. He's gone, right? That's the end
Strasbourg, of it. Are Strasbourg the Venezuela to Chelsea's America?
Well, yeah.
We'll come in, we'll buy you up, we'll make you better, but we're still going to take all of your resources when we want them, and there's no questions asked.
And also, as well as you do, you can't be in the Champions League, because if you get in the Champions League, we're going to have an issue with the modern club ownership. Look, I just think that, why would you sign for Chelsea other than finance? Because it doesn't make sense. I mean, the Fulham guy, what's his name? The centre-back. It was at City and was at Fulham. Went on a free.
Tosin Adarabioyo.
Tosin, yeah? Why did you go? You had offers from all these clubs.
Newcastle wanted him. Tottenham wanted him.
Yeah.
Villa, I think, might have been interested at the time as well.
And yet you went to Chelsea to play, 4 games every... I don't know how many games he's had, but it is not a lot. You're not cemented. You haven't cemented your place. And then you've got all these Ecuadorian kids that, they've bought. And now... They are seriously interested in Mathias Tel. They're going to offer Wolves all the gold they can eat for the latest sensation that's playing for Wolves. Wolves can't afford to be.
How many games has he played?
I don't know. I mean, not many. Not many.
I'm surprised they haven't gone and broken the bank for Thiago, mate.
Well, listen.
That's the sort of thing Chelsea would do, right?
Watch this page, mate. They can't get Firmino Lopez. Maybe they will. Chelsea are also eyeing an ambitious move for Jude Bellingham in case they end up having to replace Cole Palmer, who could be targeted. Who could be targeted by Enzo Maresca if he ends up getting, as is reported, the Manchester City job. Because let's be honest, Maresca has tried to morph as much as he could into being Pep Guardiola. Not just his tactics, but the haircut, the posture, the clothing.
The exact same shade of tan.
Yes.
Their skin colour is like indecipherable.
Yeah. Look, stars in your eyes, Patrick. Stars in your eyes. Maresca is Pep Guardiola. Yeah. Honestly, mate. Honestly.
Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Just quickly, Spurs... Talk Spurs, Super Spurs TV. Sorry, Super Blaine has gifted 5 Football Inc. memberships. Big up to you, 5 that got them. Big up to you, Blaino. If you did receive a membership, then please say thank you. Your very first thing can be priority list to do the predicciones for next Thursday or Friday when the Premier League does get back into it. Look, Johnny, because of the interests of time, we can do the predicciones from last weekend's football tomorrow or Monday, whenever we want, right? To catch up.
We do that tomorrow.
I do want to take a look at the FA Cup fixtures now.
Yeah.
Should we? Is there any more transfers before we go?
Bradley Barcola. I'll go through them quickly. Liverpool, Bradley Barcola is of interest. Slobodai has agreed a new contract. Said El Mala, the German kid, the kid that we were talking about, is also interested in them. Juventus are looking at Chiesa, who's obviously surpassed the requirements there.
Who wants Chiesa, sorry?
Juventus are looking at Chiesa. And not a surprise, but Mickey van der Ven to Real Madrid is one to watch this summer. As the Tottenham defender is open to the move. He might be open to the move, but he signed a long contract. How much, Sean?
How much is he getting paid, or how much would it cost to get him out?
How much would...
100 million euros plus.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you know what, mate? Look, maybe that's the way that Vuskovic comes back in happy.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we become trading FC. As long as we have a replacement, as long as we get some people in behind it. I don't want to sell Mickey van der Ven. I like Mickey van der Ven. I'd much rather sell Romero than van der Ven. But, you know, like we seem to have this cop block problem because Radu Dragusin wants out of Tottenham Hotspur. He's apparently, his agent has said, his agent is speaking again, Johnny. Speaking again. Saying, I can't believe it. Shock horror. He speaks more than I do. And he said that Radu Dragusin wants to go to Roma. They're just waiting for Tottenham to agree the conversation, and then we'll figure it out. So, and maybe this is the thing, right? Listen, as much as I don't like the agent, and I think Radu Dragusin needs to recognise where he's been on the injury table for the last 9 months, getting paid a lot of money, earn your right to be back in the squad. Maybe he's just looking at the situation and thinking, well, under Thomas Frank's system, you know, touch wood at least, Romero and Van der Ven are not getting injured. And then you've got Danzo, who seems to be ahead of him in the pecking order as well. So maybe he's just sitting there going, "Look, I signed for the club, but I'm not in his first. I'm not going to get enough minutes here." So, you know, again, I don't accept or excuse the mindset, or sorry, the outspokenness of it all. But I guess from his perspective, if he's not going to play minutes, then
a couple of last ones. One that I definitely don't want, because he's so lazy, he's been slagged off by their own fans. Tottenham are ready to join the race to sign West Ham midfielder Lucas Paquetá. No, thank you. I would have taken him a couple of years ago, maybe, but he walks around the pitch. I mean, he's just another Romero, another dickhead waiting to start having a go at fans or getting sent off. So no interest for me. And the other...
Paquetá? You wouldn't take Paquetá to Tottenham?
Not the way. If you listen to West Ham fans talking about how he's been playing this season, yeah, not for me.
And to be honest, more increasingly, I think they were right about what they said about Kudus.
100%, mate.
Because when we saw Kudus for the first 8 games, we were all like, how do you like that, West Ham? He mugged you off, got him for great money. And they're like, yeah, well, it's not the same version as we used. But now we're seeing that version that they warned us about. So we're
10 games, they said. 10 games. Watch him for 10 games, it'll be unbelievable. Everyone will be raving about him, and then watch him fall off a cliff. The other bit of news, the last one will do. I'm not sure. I think this would have been relevant up until the Kudus and the Johnson business. But Mathias Tel has stated he's unhappy at the lack of playing time at Tottenham and would like to leave this January. And he's open to listening to offers. But I think that ship has now sailed, quite honestly, because there's not a chance. And let's be honest, I thought he had his best game for Spurs against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
I thought, crossing and...
Oh, he's fine, mate. He's scored a goal every 145 minutes, which is better than nearly everybody else in the Premier League on a minutes per goal basis. He's just not getting the chance. I think he'll get a chance now, because I think if Thomas Frank continues to play Mouani in front of Tel... You know, bear in mind that Xavi's back. Listen, I won't talk about it because we can talk about it another time. We talk about Tottenham too much. But yeah, I just think Mathias Tel should get the should get the chance at an extended run of the team. Is that it, Johnny? Should we move on to the FA Cup?
Let's move on to the FA Cup, mate.
Okie dokie. Let's just finish
Who's
off.
gonna win this weekend? Gotta predict the. Who's gonna win this weekend? Gotta predict the scores. Gotta be Nostradamus, picking wins, losses, and draws. Who's gonna win this weekend? Gotta predict the scores. Gotta be Nostradamus, picking wins, losses, and draws.
8 games last night, Johnny. How many red cards do you think there were in the 8 games?
3.
There's 4.
Wow.
4 red cards in 8 games. 2 in 1, and then 1 in 2 others. So far, we've seen MK Dons beat Oldham Athletic, Shrewsbury get past Sutton, Macclesfield beat Slough. Hang about. Sorry, no, that wasn't yesterday. That was the end of the second round. My apologies. I'm talking absolute bollocks.
Yeah, I wondered what you talking about. I only saw 4 games last night.
Sorry. My sorry. Last night we saw Oxford United beat the MK Dons on penalties. We saw Wigan get past Preston. Port Vale beat Fleetwood, and of course we saw the great game between Wrexham and Forest. And congratulations to Wrexham. Today's early game there's a few games starting. I don't think we should talk about all of them, mate, because I haven't got a clue about many of them.
No. Just to say, you didn't mention the fact that Mali lost to Senegal 1-0. A couple of local boys in that one, a couple of Spurs locals in that.
Yeah.
And the Cameroons lost to Morocco, the host, 2-0. So we'll be looking at that.
Who's in the semi-finals then?
I don't think that's the semis.
That was the quarterfinals last night. So 2 teams have gone through into the semis so far. So that'll be who? Senegal and Mali.
Morocco.
Senegal and Morocco. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 other games today, isn't there? I think for the semis.
Yeah, 2 other ones today. The games today in the AFCON are. Let me just check. The AFCON are Algeria versus Nigeria. So Fulham will be hoping that they go out, because I think they've got 3 or 4 players there, 3 important players there. And Egypt play the Ivory Coast, so that will be an interesting one. But let's hope for some romance today in the FA Cup. The early kickoff is going to be a good one. Cheltenham versus Leicester. Leicester, who, let's be honest, not having a great season. Cheltenham, small ground. Is it possible, Sean, or is that romance too far for Cheltenham Town?
What, they League 2, Cheltenham?
I can't remember what league they're in, but
let's have a look. So I've got no idea. Cheltenham Town are in, bottom of, or they're 18th in League 2 against Leicester that are Championship. I mean, it could happen, but I don't know. I don't know enough about the team, to be honest, mate. I've got no idea. Possibly. Other 12-15 kickoffs. Everton, Sunderland, the Premier League game. The Premier League fixture. What are you saying about this one?
Well, Everton are going to be without Keane, who got sent off. They had 2 players sent off, did they not?
In their last Premier League game?
Yeah, so they'll be missing from this game. So
both teams rotate or not?
I don't know if Sunderland can rotate. That's the question, with so many away at AFCON.
Yeah.
I reckon this is going to be a tight one. As much as I'd love to see Sunderland go through, I'm going to go for an Everton 1-0 win, mate.
Everton 1-0. I'm going to go for extra time. A winner in extra time. I don't know which way it's going, though. I'll say Everton as well, but I think it will be a draw after 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace travel to Macclesfield. That shouldn't be a problem for Crystal Palace, should it?
No, I mean, they look very, very, very tired, Crystal Palace, right now. They're like hanging on in games. I mean, I know they got a draw against Villa, but I would say Palace will win that one with a heavily rotated squad.
Macclesfield are National League, so Macclesfield are National League, 14th in the National League. So that'd be an unbelievable upset.
Yeah, it'll be a great. But that's what the FA Cup Yeah, I think that would be a great one. Palace, easy win for me, but not easy because they'll be resting players. So I'm going to go 2-0. Wolves versus Shrewsbury.
Shrewsbury. Yeah, listen, I think Wolves will probably field a weakened team. They've got bigger fish to fry, trying to recover their Premier League gap. I still think it's too much for them, but I also think they'll have enough to get past Shrewsbury today. I'd be surprised if they don't qualify from that one.
And the next one, my local team, right? Boreham Wood. Okay. You've been down there, Sean. You came with me down to the Boreham Wood Stadium to watch Spurs reserves. Now, I was at the final when we played Tranmere in the playoffs. I go down there now and again to watch them. Haven't been for a while. We sunk down, we've come back, and now we sit top at the moment. I'd love to see us in the in League Two. That would just be unbelievable. And Dye, who plays for Everton, he actually played for Boreham Wood. Unbelievably. I'd love to see Boreham Wood get through to the fourth round and play Spurs, but we'll go on to them after. But yeah, I'd love to see Boreham Wood get through the next round. Hopefully. Yeah,
I don't know the standard of Boreham Wood or Burton, so I don't know about that one. But in terms of the Premier League fixtures, big one today, Newcastle, Bournemouth. That's a good game, isn't it?
Newcastle, Bournemouth. Yeah. How will Bournemouth fare? Newcastle are almost unstoppable at home. I expect Newcastle to run out winners in this game. I can't see any other result. One interesting one, which I reckon Burnley will wonder what happens when they arrive. Millwall fans will be travelling to Burnley. That could be a feisty old game. That one. I think that's going to be a feisty game. I'm going to go for a Millwall. I'm going to go for a Millwall upset there.
All right, and why not? Why not? There'll be an upset today for sure. Someone's going to get dumped out that shouldn't be.
Fulham Borough.
Burnley.
Yeah, Fulham Borough.
Fulham Borough is also one that might have an upset. I don't mind Fulham at home, but Fulham, like you say, they might rest a few players. But Middlesbrough, I mean, have they got bigger fish to fry? Worrying. I think Middlesbrough will go for it. This is the magic of the cup, and I think that Middlesbrough might get this one might go to extra time.
I'll tell you another feisty one. Stoke versus Coventry. Coventry just slightly having a little bit of a hiccup, Sean. A little bit of a hiccup. Stoke City, good at home. They've had a few clashes recently. That could be quite a good game. Be interesting to see what that one says. Man City versus Exeter should be a walkthrough.
Yep. Charlton, Chelsea tonight. South West London game.
Yeah, I mean, Charlton will do well here, but you never know. The prima donnas.
Yeah.
Late night.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
There's some interesting fixtures today. Usually the third round doesn't have too many monsters, but there's 3 all Premier League ties. And Tottenham Villa is obviously the last one that we probably need to talk about before we'll come back tomorrow and talk about tomorrow's games. But what are you saying for Tottenham Villa? I know you're going to the game. I'm not going. I can't be bothered. But
I'll be honest with you. As if we didn't have enough problems, we saw Bentancur go off with look like a bit of a hammy injury. Berval went off with a muscle injury. Romero's out for another game for another 1 game ban.
Is that today? Is it?
Yeah. So as if we didn't have enough injuries and troubles. The team picks itself, Sean. The team picks itself. The last time we played Villa was actually last year at Villa Park, 9th of February. We lost 2-1. Jacob Brandy scoring an early goal. And then Morgan Rogers getting the second and Mathias Tel with a late consolation goal, which meant really nothing. Their only trouble lies with the goalkeeper, Emi Martinez. He went off at Palace at half time, so he's out. Tyrone Mings is a doubt, but they're pretty much full strength, Sean, by the goalkeeper.
Will they play full strength?
Well,
They'll have their players on the bench, and if they are in trouble, they'll bring them on in the 60th minute, and then they'll take over.
Well, this is so. I was asking the Villa on Villa channel last night whether or not they thought, is this competition really a priority for Aston Villa? Because I think the priority is the Premier League and winning the Europa League. I think that for them is the priority number one. I'm not saying they don't want to win it, but I don't think this is first and foremost. So I think they will rotate some players. The big miss for them, sorry, I missed out, who was unbelievable against Arsenal. And I think it was the main turning point that they turned the game, is Enoch in the middle of the park there. He's an absolute monster. He's out. But I think they got too much for us. Saying that, though, Sean, when we played them last time, they did nothing but have 2 shots from outside the box, 2 absolute screamers, screamer goals. I'm going to go for Spurs scoring the first goal and then Villa coming back, and I think it's going to go to extra time. I don't know. I think it's in the lap of the gods, mate.
Is the Dortmund game this week?
Is it Wednesday?
Or is it the following Wednesday?
No, I think it's the 20th, the Dortmund game.
Okay, so we've got a week between.
There's no game this week because it's the Carabao Cup semi-finals.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why they maybe don't rotate Aston Villa, because they don't have a game this week.
Yeah. Either way, I think that we're going to lose.
Yeah.
Let the meltdown resume.
I think so. Guys, if you're in the chat and you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. And if you're watching and you haven't hit the subscribe button, please hit it. We're trying to get to 6,000. We couldn't do it without you, but loads of you watch this channel and don't hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you any money. Subscribe is the wrong terminology. It really means follow. So follow us and make sure you don't miss any of our shows. We'll definitely be going tomorrow when hopefully there'll be more news on signings other than Spurs signing Sousa and maybe some more major signings for some others. You got another super chat there, Sean?
Yeah, Aussie Coys, big up to you, mate. He says, could Enoch be selling the top players, taking the profits, then selling up? I mean,
nothing's impossible, mate. Nothing is impossible.
I don't know why they just didn't take the fucking bid. If they didn't rate, if they wanted to go, they could have taken the investment in September. They could have sat down, but they said no. I don't know. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. If you make out like you're buyable, then no one wants to buy you for the price you want. So you make out you're not buyable at all, and everyone wants to pay more. It's scarcity. Shut up. Just get out of the football club, you donuts.
Get out of our club.
Anyway, big up to you, Aussie. Thank you very much, my man. Appreciate you. I'd be surprised if that was the strategy, because that would all get factored in anyway. Squad values get factored into valuations.
100%. Yeah.
Right, Johnny, we got to round it off here, mate. But he's gone. So I'll take this opportunity to say have a wonderful weekend, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. It's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from me. Love you all, guys. Thanks again for all your support. Please smash the like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good luck to your team if you're playing today, and see you later. Bye.